Standards identified in these activities have been adopted from the content standards of the national organization for each discipline. More information on this can be found in the Technology as Facilitator of Quality Education model. The students are going to make an informational booklet on how to build and fly kites. Each student is assigned a topic to research and has to use various print and electronic resources to locate information. They also have to decide what kind of information to include and how to organize it. In a full class discussion, the students talk about some topics they can include in the booklet, such as how to construct and fly a kite, the history of the kite, and safety tips. This integrates ESL Standard 2.1, which requires that students use English to interact in the classroom.
What kind of information, if we were going to make a book about kites, what kind of information do you think would be best to include?
How to fly.
How to fly a kite, okay.
How to make a kite.
How to make one. What else? Francisco? You don't know? What else do you think?
Maybe where was the first place they fly.
Okay. History.
Safety tips.
Oh, good one.
With the teacher's help, the students make an outline that includes both their prior knowledge about kites and what they want to know about them. This integrates ESL Standard 2.2, which requires that students use English to obtain, process, construct, and provide subject matter information in spoken and written form.
Kind of an outline here that we can enter. I want you to think right now, just for a few minutes, I'm going to give each of you a pencil. I want you to think just for a few minutes and write down in the very first column, the first puzzle piece, what you already know about kites. Important things that you think you know, or that you're pretty sure that you know.
The students divide tasks and areas of research among themselves, and they begin to work individually and in pairs. They use various print, electronic, and internet sources to find out more about kites. 2 students read books to get information they need to make a kite, while 1 student researches the World Wide Web for drawings and information about kites. As the students do their research, they implement ESL Standard 2.3. This standard requires that students use appropriate learning strategies to construct and apply academic knowledge. The students are going to analyze the data they have collected and organize it into outline form.
We're going to make an outline of what our book is going to be, and then we can fill in what we need. And if we still have any holes where we don't have enough information, then we can put those in too. Okay?
2 students work together to make the outline and decide on the order in which the information should be presented. Having the students create an outline for their booklet further integrates ESL Standard 2.2, which requires that students use English to obtain, process, construct, and provide subject matter information in spoken and written form. As the students work on the outline together, they also implement ESL Standard 2.1. This standard requires that students use English to interact in the classroom.
How to make a kite.
Okay, now I have a question for you. You're telling me about the history of kites, and then you're going to tell me what a kite is?
No. Oh. I think before that. Yeah, what is that? Yeah.
The students are engaged in a discussion about the history of the kite. They share the information they have found on when kites were invented. As the students communicate the results of their research, they further incorporate ESL Standards 2.1 and 2.2.
History of kites. When were kites invented? Did anybody find that information? What did you find, Ruth?
2,000 years ago in China.
2,000 years ago in China. Did you find anything, Dina?
1000 BC.
1000 BC. So that would be, if we're the year 2000 AD now, that would be how many years ago then? 3,000? What did you find?
3000.
3,000 years ago.
The teacher integrates Technology Performance Indicator for grades 6 through 8, number 8, which requires that students select and use appropriate tools and technology resources to accomplish a variety of tasks. A student creates the class's kite booklet using ClarisWorks 4.0 word processing software. The teacher helps the student correct the errors indicated on the screen.
Does the history about?
Okay.
Or do I have to put this Benjamin
In
Franklin?
English, not I know in Spanish you don't capitalize nationalities,
Oh.
but when we talk about a nationality in English, we have to use a capital letter. So when we talk about the Mexican people, we always capitalize Mexican. Chinese would be the same way.
After completing their booklet, the students write in their journals to reflect on what they have learned and accomplished. This integrates ESL Standard 1.3, which requires that students use learning strategies to extend their communicative competence. The teacher discusses with a student the option of writing down what she wants to say first before typing it on the computer. This is one way the student can use class time more efficiently on a project like the kite booklet. By engaging the student in this discussion in English, the teacher integrates ESL Standard 2.1, which requires that students use English to interact in the classroom.
Would it help if you wrote it out by hand before you went to the computer to write it down?
Yeah. Maybe.
That might be a good way to do it then. Maybe you can choose one or two of these books, and tonight at least just kind of roughly write out what you want to say, so then tomorrow when we come in we'll use our time a little bit better. Do you think? Okay.